Hey everybody, it's Corey. It is September 2022, and in this video we're going to look at the statistics here in the North Idaho housing market for the month of September. A lot of you have been asking, hey Corey, what are you seeing on the ground level there in your housing market? Are you seeing things change? And I will get into that once we get past these stats. All right, let's get into the stats. So first slide, homes for sale. You can see September 2022 had 1,459 houses for sale for that month. We have not seen that high of inventory since September of 2019. The last 2 years, inventory has been way lower. You'll notice that inventory did go down from August through September, and that's just a seasonal change. You typically see houses come off the market during the end of summer. People are back in school and so forth, and it's hunting season. Okay, let's go to the next slide. You have homes for sale. The 5-year historical report here, you'll see that even though our homes for sale have gone up over the last 3 years, they are still well below historical norms. You can see in September of 2018, there were over 2,100 houses for sale, and we're still below that. But houses for sale are going up. Inventory is going up. Now, why is inventory going up? Well, here's one reason it is not going up. You'll notice that the new listings for September of this year were actually down compared to September of last year. Fewer people are putting their homes on the market. Why are home inventories going up? Well, if you look here, there's fewer buyers. Fewer buyers are buying. In closed sales for the month of September 2022, there were 438 closed sales for all of North Idaho. And that was down almost 20% over 2021, where there were 457 units for that month. And in 2020, there were 757 units that sold. That is a 42% difference. Total sales are down 42% over the last 2 years. So let that sink in. There are 42% fewer people buying homes here in North Idaho. That is why the inventory is going up. As the inventory stays normal or at its lows with fewer buyers, the inventory is catching up. And that's good for prices, right? So let's look at the prices. The median sales price for the month of September was $520,000. That is up 4% year over year. So prices are still on the rise, but that is not the whole story. Let's get into the whole story. In this slide, you'll notice that, again, here in April 2022, the highest price point, median price for a home in North Idaho ever was $596,000. And in April, that was that high point. What happened the month before? Interest rates went up. That was when the Fed started jacking the rates up. And since then, prices have gone down. Here in September, the median price was $520,000. That means that from April to September, in half a year, prices have dropped 12.7%. That's pretty drastic. Now, year over year, we're still up 4%, but in half a year, prices have physically come down 12.7%. Good news for you buyers. All right, here you'll notice that the closed sales are actually at 2014 levels. The last time we saw around that 436 closed sales units in a month of September was back in 2014. So that's pretty graphic as well. When you see that the amount of homes being sold are back to 2014 levels. Now that is our market. Let's talk about what some of the forecasts are according to Wall Street analysts. Morgan Stanley predicts the prices to fall 7% by the end of 2023. Goldman Sachs predicts prices to fall anywhere between 5 to 10%. And Moody's Analytics and Fitch Ratings predicts prices to fall 10 to 15%. Why so pessimistic? As long as mortgage rates stay high and supplies stay short, housing affordability is going to continue to worsen. And I agree with that. I think as long as the Fed has blatantly come out and said their goal is to bring down inflation, and they're going to do interest rate hikes until that happens. And I don't see inflation coming down very quick, so they're just going to keep hammering us. We'll see what happens. But as long as the rates go up, prices are going to go down. And I want to caution you about what you perceive a housing crash to be. I hit on this on a lot of my videos. Don't expect a 20 to 30% drop year over year. Even the analysts were saying, I think the lowest was 15%. And you can see that that's pretty much what history tells us as well. In this slide here, you can see from 2007 to 2011, those 5 years of the Great Recession, North Idaho lost 32% total. That wasn't 1 year. That took 5 years to make that happen. There was only 1 year of a double-digit decrease, and that was in 2009 at 13%. So be careful in what you hinge your projections on. History just does not bear out too many double-digit years. Now that we've discussed the stats and we've seen what September's doing, we're seeing prices are coming down, and we can expect prices to continue to come down. What are we seeing right now in the North Idaho market? Well, just like any market, there's two types of buyers at any given time. There's those that cannot afford to buy in that market, and there are those that can afford to buy in that market. Those that cannot afford to buy in the North housing market are increasing. Prices up, interest rates up, and it's pretty much the same for every housing market in the country. Fewer and fewer people can afford to buy. But for those that can afford to buy, and what we're seeing here in North Idaho, there's two mindsets. The first mindset of those that can buy here in North Idaho is, I'm not buying yet. They are waiting to buy because they fear an economic crash is coming. So they're waiting. The second mindset that we're seeing is those that are rushing to buy here because they fear economic collapse. They don't want to be stuck where they're at when it happens. So let's dig a little deeper into those two mindsets. And to do that, I want to bring up an analogy. So if you guys remember the book, The Grapes of Wrath, it was a story about the Jode family that were farmers in Oklahoma. The great dust storms, the great dust clouds came and covered their properties. They covered their crops. There was no water to water. Crops were full of dust. They could not grow their crops. They lost their income. They lost their livelihood. And the story of The Grapes of Wrath is where this family from Oklahoma to California to find jobs. But at the beginning of that book, there was a sentence that I want to point out to you guys because it really encapsulates what we're seeing here right now. The sentence is that the clouds appeared and went away, and in a while, they did not try anymore. And that basically sums up the two types of buyers we're seeing. If you're the type of buyer that's waiting to buy here in North Idaho, you believe that the clouds appear and that they're going to go away. You're waiting for that normal economic cycle where things go up, things go down. You're waiting for the down, you're going to buy the dip, and then you're going to ride the up. The other mindset is you don't believe that these clouds are going to go away. As the sentence says, in a while, those clouds did not try to leave anymore. And that's the buyer that we're seeing buy right now in North Idaho. To give you an example, one of our clients told me, Corey, I don't want my money in the bank right now. He says, interest is eating away at it. I'm afraid of bank runs. I'm afraid of bank bail-ins where the bank will not let me take my cash out when I want to take it out. I want to get that money out now before the hard economic times come, and I want to put it in an investment that I know is safer than all the other investments. He says, I don't want it in the stock market, too volatile. I want it in a hard asset that I think is going to be stable compared to other assets. So he decided to buy here in North Idaho. And he said, I don't want that home to lose value because of a hurricane or because of social unrest or because of lack of water or higher energy prices. I don't want that to go down because of those factors. So he thought North Idaho was the place to be for him. Another buyer wanted to be here before they thought what was going to hit the fan in California. They said, I want to get out of California before all this happens and I'm stuck. And I don't want to be stuck in California and never be able to get out. So find me a home now. So in answer to the question, Corey, what are you seeing on the ground level? We're seeing fewer and fewer buyers, but yet we're still seeing a large chunk of buyers. Now remember, 42% less home sales over the last 2 years, but there's still 60% that are buying. And of those that are buying, I think most of them are in that camp that they want to buy now in a safer environment, whether it's economically or socially, and they want to get here now. So we're seeing that as our buyers. The other thing that we're seeing is that homes are no longer selling like that. They're not selling with multiple bids as much. Some are selling with multiple bids, but if they do, it's usually 1 or 2 other bids, not 10 or 15. It's back to a normal market on the ground level, believe it or not. So that's what we're seeing here. I know I kind of went down a deep philosophical hole for you on the two types of buyers, but that's what we're seeing. This market has the attention of a lot of buyers that want to seek a place for refuge. And I think that's different than a lot of markets out there, and that'll continue. Okay, let's play some really cool music and look at the housing stats for the month of September, both in the single family and in the rural markets. Let's get into it.